Good morning, everyone. Here we are back with another creative interview, but this one's kind of special because not only do you know this gentleman and you've seen him at many events around town, all around town, and we're going to find out a little bit more about that, but he's back at Empire's Comics this Saturday, the 23rd, 1 p.m. to do a special workshop with SacGeeks, where we're going to be talking, I'm going to be listening. He's going to be talking about character development in comic books. And so this is a great workshop for all of you who want to do your own comics, who are working on creating your own characters, or who just want a little more input from somebody who has done a lot in the small press world. So welcome, Kyrun Silva, to our program.
Hey, Ben. Thanks for having me on.
No, of course, sir. You don't have to say that every time. You're here every week. It feels like it. So this is great. This is really fun. Obviously things have slowed down across the board, but everything is coming back up in the world. And SacGeeks is doing a presentation here at Empires with you, hopefully the first of many. And because we have so many great people creating around town. And why don't you give us your take on what's coming this Saturday? Because I know I left some stuff out for sure.
I know, and like you said, this is something put together by SacGeeks and Beck Francis. So I want to thank them wholeheartedly for allowing me to be this. But yeah, I'm going to be putting together a workshop where I'm going to be helping and teaching people how to create a character or characters and start from that general idea that you might have of what your character might be to something that's a usable creation in a book or a comic book or whatever you want to use. But we're going to workshop those ideas and try to give you a guideline of how to make a character viable and usable for you in stories.
Okay, then, so you're going to start at the very, very beginning with the initial idea and where to go with it. Do you have any kind of things that you use to help create, or are these things that just kind of come into your mind? Is it something that you need to fit into the story?
It is something that I have a formula, I guess you could say, that I use. My formula might be a little bit different because I'm also the artist on a lot of my stories. So I'm going to try to focus just on the writing aspect of it. But I do have a formula I use, and I'm going to show people what I do to make this character become real. We're going to start by like the background of the characters. If it's something that's like a superhero or magical, things like that, we're going to focus on the abilities of the characters. We're also going to focus on the history, because sometimes people just think of this cool character, but you forget about the history of that character, where that character comes from, what's driving them, things like that. And you want to make sure you're remembering that when creating a character.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting seeing where you come in on this, because I know there's probably a lot of different ways that people approach this. And, speaking of the history, there's a lot of history that when I do the same thing, I'll fill in little gaps and wait for the story to unfold for others. So I'm interested to see how you approach this entire thing. And I'm also, I thought it was interesting that you said you were going to leave the art aside, which most of us, probably 99% of us, would appreciate, because we're not artists as well. So focusing on just the character development spot and assuming you don't have an artist is going to be very relevant to most of us.
Yeah. When I was talking with Bex about doing this, she and I thought that we should just be focusing on this part of things, because this is not a tutorial how to draw. This is not a tutorial how to bump up your artistic abilities. This is just character development. So that's what we're going to focus on. Now, we might do something in the future where we do like an art class, things like that. I would love to maybe, I don't know if I'm the right person to do an art class, but hey, if you guys want me to, I will. But we're just going to be focusing on how to create your characters and how to beef them up and make them interesting and viable and characters that people want to know more about.
Okay, and that sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun and very useful to everyone out there. I also like the idea that you said there's potential for other things, because even outside of moving just onto art, there are so many levels past just initial character development that you could go into as far as writing, since you do both of them.
Yeah.
In fact, you could do a whole class on how to deal with an artist, because God, those guys.
I don't know if I should be defending my art community or not on this.
I mean,
not wrong.
Right now, wait. Right now, we're talking about you as a writer.
Okay, then yeah, you're right. God.
Yeah, thank you. how many times you get a page back and you're like, how'd that extra panel get on here? But that beside the point. This is not a gripe session. This is really fun. But outside of this, which is coming next Saturday, the 23rd, 1 p.m. at Empire's Comics, you've actually been doing some stuff around town here lately. You've been picking up your game a little bit. Tell us about the things that have been happening with you.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to go outside of my box and do things that I'm not used to and that makes me uncomfortable. I'm a very introverted person, so recently I was given the option of doing a presentation for the Crocker Art Museum. I don't know why I can't think of the name. But they Evan Burgoon, local guy, everybody knows him too. He said,
B
"Hey,
Squad?
did you?" Huh?
I said B Squad.
Yeah, B Squad. He said, "Hey, we have the Black Family Festival coming up. Did you want to be our MC?" And I was like, "I don't like talking in front of people." But I thought about it. I was like, this is one of the reasons why I've been doing my podcast, the Four Tails podcast, available on podcast networks at fourtails.com. This is one of the reasons why I did this, is because I wanted to learn how to speak better, learn how to speak in front of people. And I was like, you know what? Even though I hate doing this, I'm going to do it. So I got to do the MC for that. That was in February. And that was actually really fun. I got to interview Darren Bell, who is a Pulitzer Prize winning artist and writer. And we did an interview on the stage for everybody. That was actually a great time. And then recently, and I had to check on this because I heard something, they had to change the dates, but at City Hall, they're doing a display of artwork that I did and a few other local artists did for a high school here in Sacramento, where we, like, children, I don't want to call them children, I don't know their ages.
Young adults.
But all right. They did a essay, and we got to turn their essays into life. We got to draw what their essays were about. We got to, use our artistic abilities to figure out what they were trying to say. And I got to do 3 pieces for the school, and it was really fun. It's supposed to be down at City Hall right now. I got a weird email that they might have changed the dates that they're going to display it. I have to go back and check that, but it was actually really fun, and I was glad I got to do it.
And of course, I'm sure they can see a picture of what you did up on your social media.
No, I can't yet.
You can't. Okay, well then never mind. Pay attention to Kyrun's social media so that you can then see it and go check it out as well as see what else he's doing. Then the CrockerCon thing doesn't surprise me. You've actually worked with Evan before. You did a panel at the last CrockerCon, didn't you?
Yeah, I did a panel with I interviewed Dan Bethel and Robert Love, but that was weird because the panel that we did, it wasn't last minute, but getting Robert and Dan on was sort of last minute, and we were the last panel of the evening. Mm-hmm. So I think we had 3 people in the audience. This event, though,
each one of you could talk to the individual person to one-on-one.
Yeah, but this panel, we had, I want to say, about 100 people in the audience, at least.
Oh,
I mean, the auditorium was completely full. And everybody was engaged, and it was just fun to just get up on the stage and do what I do, which is talk to creators and interview them. I love doing that, which is why I've been doing my podcast for the last 3 years. And, that was just a fun experience. And then meeting Darren and just finding more about him and reading his great book, that was actually a great experience also.
Good. Nice. So do you have anything else in the works as far as stuff like this coming up here in SAC or outside of SAC?
Nothing that's been solidified right now that I can talk about.
Okay,
there are things I'm trying to get to, but nothing concrete.
What about any cons you're going to be at?
Next con I will be at will be Free Comic Book Day.
Where at?
Down at Comics and Collectibles.
Excellent.
So that's in May. I'm doing some cons on the East Coast, fingers crossed, in June, July, somewhere around there.
That's a big jump. Have you done the East Coast yet?
No.
That's right. That's right. So this is the big one. Which one are you going to try and do?
I'm going to try to get into Heroes Con.
Okay.
Yeah.
That will be great. Well, I don't know how many SAC people are going to be there, but he's going to
I don't think anyone.
a lot of other people there. And lastly, let's talk some comic projects. What do we have on the horizon for you?
I was not expecting you to talk.
He quit. He's like, I'm done. I did Shaman's Destiny. I'm done.
Well, okay, so coming from Taurus Comics, we just released software, which is at Empire's Comics Vault right now. I'm going to be working on Starcore issue 2 and Saw issue 5. I laughed because right now I'm in the process of writing Ruby for Planet Oz, the entire 6 issues. But I'm also working on other books for other people. Like I just finished the artwork for I Drive for Cerber issue 2.
Oh, you got number 2 done. Excellent.
Yeah. We'll be doing the Kickstarter for that next month, I think it is.
Okay.
And I just talked with the writer for Ballad of the Black Rose, and he said he's going to finish the script, so we'll be starting issue 2 on that pretty soon. So
all right, so we've got a ton on the plate. Back to Ruby real quick. You said you're writing all 6 before you do anything. You're still going to put them out in single issue format, aren't you?
Nope. I'm doing this as a graphic novel. I decided to do it as a full graphic novel.
That's why I got the feeling. I was like, wait a minute, this seems fishy.
Yeah, and that's the reason why it's taken so long for me to get a next issue out. When I released issue 1, I was like, you know what? I feel like the story would be better as an actual graphic novel than doing individual issues. Just because the way I formatted each chapter, some chapters were like 12 pages, other chapters were 28 pages. So I was like, this doesn't feel right for me to try to force the normal 20 to 24 page format of a comic out. So I'm just going to do it as a graphic novel.
Okay, so this is not something that you're going to do on a regular basis. It just happened to work for this particular project.
Yeah, just for this, and mostly because Ruby was the only series that I thought of that was going to be a mini series. Outside of the 6 issues, I didn't have anything planned for it.
Okay,
so this was that. Everything else was ongoing and was always designed to be, but this one just felt right to be a mini series.
Okay, no, that's great. Okay, that's just good to know for everybody. Well, great. You've got a ton going on, not only around town, but in your comic book world. I don't know how you juggle all of that. And a family.
I don't talk to my family. I don't know who they are anymore.
And they don't know who you are. They're like, who's that man living upstairs? That old man.
The old man. Thank you.
Of course. But you guys, of course, go check out his stuff online. You can find him at is it just all of it under Taurus Comics?
Yeah, everything's Taurus Comics on all social media platforms.
Yep, and he's got the podcast down here at the bottom. And you can where can they find your books outside of Empire's Comics?
You can find it online at my website, tauruscomics.com. There are some at Comics and Collectibles. You can go to TikTok, which has been really great for comic creators. You can buy there through the TikTok shop. A1 Comics down in Roseville or Rockland has books there. So there's a few shops in the area, but mostly online.
Collectibles, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay, so so you can find them locally, you can find them online. Go check them out. He's got 5 issues of Saw. No, you're working on the 5th one. 4 issues of Saw. You can get Ruby on the shelf. Shaman's Destiny is already in trade. And I Drive for Cerber is on at the shop for number 1. There's plenty to check out, and it's a wide variety of things. So you have options. You're not just stuck in one genre. So please check them out this Saturday, the 23rd. Come down to Empire's Comics and check out the seminar, whether you're a longtime professional or you're just starting. I'm sure you're going to get something from this, and you'll have some good questions. You'll have some good input, and it's just going to be a fun day. So thank you very much, Kyrun, for today, and thank you for next Saturday, and I hope you enjoy your weekend.
You too.